So I was just about to sit down and make myself a cup of tea, and I thought I'd share with you a new device that Fire Maple sent out that I think it might be of interest to you, and that is the WIFI, or Wi-Fi. It's W-I-F-I. It's a butane gas canister adapter for any of your stoves. If you're interested, keep watching. All right, so the beauty of this little device is that you can take any of your current gas canister stoves, the type that would sit right on top of a gas canister, and convert it to running butane off of. So you don't have to pay the higher prices for the isobutane when you can get these at a much lower cost. And the reason I asked Fire Maple to send it out to me is I had such good success and good performance with the Fire Maple Trident, which runs off of the butane cylinders, that I thought this might be a great thing to show you in terms of if you've already got a gas canister stove, you want to start running butane instead of the more expensive isobutane, at least for the summer months. Remember, this doesn't work well in the winter. Then maybe you would be interested. So, very quick description. I'm not going to put the specs in it. They'll be in the video description. Other than to say it's only 4 ounces. It's a hard plastic body. There is the adapter where the the butane will go on. I'll show you that in a second. The Lindau valve adapter on top where you're going to screw your stove on, and 3 fold-out legs. Now, one of the things I found I really liked about this is that it does lower the center of gravity. If you're, it's about, yeah, it's a little lower than maybe an 8-ounce isobutane cylinder is, probably closer to what a 4-ounce isobutane cylinder is off of the ground, that is. But because of the 3 fold-out legs, you do get a lot of stability that you may not get with the smaller ones unless you take along, of course, a stand for them as well. So to assemble this, take whatever stove you have and you just screw it onto the bottom. Now, I did bring out my Fire Maple Green Peak. It's the newest stove from Fire Maple that I've been testing and recently reviewed. And this has an adaptation to it that most of my other stoves, I don't think any of the other stoves actually have. And I just want to show you this because it's something to be aware of. Can you see where the Lindau valve is in the bottom of the stove? And there is an O-ring around the outside here, and how wide the base is. Well, this is an upgrade to a lot of the stoves that Fire Maple have put out, and other manufacturers for that matter. And what it does is it gives it better seating on top of the gas canister. You don't get any of that gas release when you're screwing this on because that O-ring just seems to, well, it does. It seals it right off. And because of the width of it, it's a little bit more stable. I don't know that it had to be from a chances of damage in it point of view, but it is nice that they've gone just that little extra step to make them a little bit safer and more easy to use. Now, the only reason I point that out is, can you see where the Lindau valve adapter is? That hole is exactly the same size as this. In fact, when I first screwed it on, I didn't think it was actually going to screw on properly. It's only peculiar with this stove. All my other stoves that I have go on just fine. They don't have any issues. They seat down inside of the plastic body. So let me just throw this on, and I'll show you what I mean. You got to get it started. It is snug putting it on because of that O-ring, but once you're on, and then you're good. Again, this only happens with the Green Peak. It's the only stove I have in my collection that is like that. Let me just fold the legs up on the Green Peak. Or not legs, pot supports. And there is the adjusting valve, piezoelectric igniter here. And the last thing I want to show you is where you attach the gas canister or the butane canister to it. So it's a little bit different than the one that was on my Fire Maple Trident. This is an older, I don't want to say an older technology, but an older design. The new ones have, hard plastic nylon insert, and they just seem to go on so much more easily. This has, well, the only way to really explain it is to demonstrate it. Take the cap off. So the end of a butane cylinder has that one little notch. That's where the locking lug will mate up. So there's the locking lug. There is a little shelf here, and this helps to lock it in. So you're just going to line it up like this. Now, you kind of have to be quick. Don't mess around with this because I find it will piss out a little gas, like make a little hiss, I guess is the right way to say it. So it's just push and turn. So we'll just do that and I pushed and turned, and now it's locked on and ready to go. There is one other little peculiarity that it has in operation, but in order to show you that, I do have to set it down on the ground, get my kettle on that I'm going to be making my hot water for tea, and then I'll show you it in operation. All right, so I mentioned there is one other small peculiarity about the stove, and it's not anything that makes it a deal breaker. It's just something I didn't expect to see when I first got it. Now, it occurs to me when I got it out into the woods here, this may not show up very clearly out here because it's just the uneven surfaces, but on a perfectly flat surface, this is what you're going to see. Try and make this, my kneeling pad, flat. Can you see that the front leg is slightly off the level? Can you see how that rocks a little bit? Now, that's because the gas canister, the butane, is straight out from the adapter. It doesn't angle down to the ground. So as a result, the weight of the butane wants to make the whole thing kind of tilt over a little bit. Now, again, here I am out in the woods, and it's not an issue because there's so many unlevel surfaces to start with, but at home it was noticeable on the counter. I just put a little rock, by the way, underneath the gas canister just to level everything off. So let me turn the gas flow on, and right, off to the races. Now, when my kettle comes to a boil, make myself a cup of tea, and we'll quick close this video out. And I'm still waiting on my tea to steep a little longer, maybe cool off a tiny bit. I thought that'll give me a moment to wrap this video up before I just sit back in my hammock chair and relax out here in this beautiful late summer day. All right, so there's the canister. Now, the Green Peak being made mostly of stainless steel is still a little hot, so it's not bad though. All right, so the reverse to put it away, just turn it, pull it off. There's my gas canister off. I can at least turn off the bottom, unscrew it. Like I said, this Green Peak is a little snugger than my other stoves, and that's the reason I chose to show it with this, in case you grabbed one and the Green Peaks and one of these. It's not the first stove I would choose to use with it, only because of how snug it is on the bottom, but it doesn't harm it in any way. Put it away. There you go. That's all there is to it. Now I can put it away until the next time I want to use it. So again, the value of using this WiFi, I don't know, W-I-F-I, is that it's going to save you some money in terms of isobutane. It is so much cheaper to run butane cylinders on a stove than it is isobutane. Again, I've talked about that quite a bit in terms of the economics of it when I did the review on the Fire Maple Trident, and if you're interested, I'll put a link to that review at the end of this one. You can go back and get a little bit more detail there. But if you already have a stove and you'd like to start burning the butane, you just need an adapter, and then you're going to be saving yourself some money. Again, it's only good for the summer. As it cools down, butane does not work well in the winter. That's when you do need to use isobutane, or even one of the isobutane propane winter mixes as it starts to get cold. Okay, if you have any comments or questions, put them in the comments section below. As mentioned, I will put the link and a few specifications for this device, as simple as it is, in the video description. But until next time, get out and explore and take that path less traveled, because it will make all the difference. Bye for now.